Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies, inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the three hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Cambridge I'm with Sean is a Weirding Way media podcast.
I got a big mountain to
and welcome to Cambridge and with Sean, a podcast by two not weird guys talking about not weird things that we like.
Exactly. Not weird at all.
Not weird at all. Normal to us.
Normal for a 56-year-old man to be talking about, that's for sure.
By the time you're 56, or 49 in my case, the things that are weird should just be normal by now.
Because talking about little toys is normal for a 56-year-old man. Can you imagine a 56-year-old man in 1942?
Yeah, a 56-year-old man in 1942 drinking from a Donald Duck coffee mug.
And collecting little lead-filled toy soldiers.
That's the thing. Like, there's always been stuff that people collect,
there have.
right?
And I'm sure there were actually people like that that had collections of things.
In fact, I was just watching a Mr. Rogers episode, one of the few full episodes that are on YouTube, where he goes to visit the music shop where in the back room, an older gentleman from Mr. Rogers' era was showing off his bank collection, his little cast iron bank collection. People do this.
People collect things.
People collect things.
It's primeval.
Motorcycles, banks.
Caveman used to collect chestnuts or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Line them up along the granite.
Made a little shelf.
Look at this.
Chestnuts.
This chestnut was from... Yeah, I don't know. I can't even make it up. Well, I'm Skelevator, and I'm on YouTube and Instagram. But here in this context, I'm Ronnie, and I'm here with my friend Mark.
I'm Mark Bigley. I do some other stuff, which I'm just too tired to talk about today.
That's right. Today's one of those days. It's like we've had a bunch of warm days. They come with it the excitement and energy of good weather. And now that it's cloudy today, I was not feeling motivated.
I'm the opposite. I was not happy about warm. I'm never happy about warm weather. I know what's coming.
Yeah, warm in the Central Valley means that in a couple of weeks it's going to be 100 degrees.
I'm fine with it staying as cool as it is until however late it goes this year.
When it's overcast, I immediately feel like I wake up and I want to lay back down again.
Yeah, see, I can get up and get going. I like overcast.
Yeah, that's good.
I just think I'm at the coast. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and actually that feeling of getting up and laying down again never comes with like a feeling of burden for me. It's always like, oh, this is nice. I can just sort of chill, like I'm intended to chill. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about what we're going to talk about today. And we're doing something a little bit different today because I have zero idea of what you're going to be talking about.
Same.
There are some things we're going to talk about that we already know based on our back and forth throughout the month or the few weeks between us recording episodes. We always share little chunks of information with each other about stuff we found on eBay or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or in today's episode, a brief mention of Super 7, which happens almost every episode.
Yeah, we need to get off that kick.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. As long as they keep doing this stuff, it's going to pop up for me.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Mark, have you picked up anything exciting or interesting over the last couple of weeks?
Yes, I have. But before I talk about that stuff, I need to make some corrections and some additions to the last episode.
Let's hear 'em.
So in my discussion of Mego, I completely forgot, and it was in my notes, so that's why I'm going back to it, to mention that they were one of the top 4 toy companies during this time that I was referring to. Unlike Hasbro and Mattel, who are still around and still very huge, people tend to forget about them a little more easily than, say, Kenner, who's not technically around anymore, but still has a pretty big presence.
Yeah.
Who would be the other in the top 4 that I referenced? They're more of a boutique company now. Even though they're back, they're nowhere near the size and scale of Hasbro and Mattel, and I don't think that's their goal either. But yeah, they were huge, mainly because of the superhero figures. The Planet of the Apes figures did really well for them. Micronauts was a massive success, and a lot of they had tons of different toy lines, or shouldn't say toy lines, but lines in the 8-inch figure series. Wizard of Oz did really well for them, etc., etc. So they were big and then just plummeted in the early 80s. It is pronounced Mego. I even catch myself mispronouncing it because for the longest time, I think like a lot of people assumed it was Mego, like Lego.
Yep, me too.
When I rediscovered or found that out that it's Mego, I thought, did I know that as a kid? Because I've been saying it in my head as Mego for years. You know, this is before I joined the Mego Museum. And they even got in trouble for that name with Lego because it's one letter different.
Yeah.
They had to prove their point. It's, no, it's the owner's kids saying Mego 2, whenever the dad was taking their brother somewhere.
Yeah.
The pronunciation kind of they've always been in legal trouble, apparently.
They've struggled.
They have their issues. And I also said that they came back in 2013, and that is not the case. It was 2018. I was 5 years off. I don't know why I said 2013.
Sometimes it feels like 2013 was just yesterday.
Yeah. Well, 2018 is 7 years ago anyway. I mean, that's long ago enough, and that feels like
oh my gosh,
yesterday too. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention was I noticed your new intros on your videos. It looks like you maybe took my suggestion of doing Mr. Rogers style intros.
Oh, did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally thought that was a great idea. One of the reasons why, I would say there are several reasons why I have the channel, but one of the stipulations that I've always kept to with my channel is to try and be positive and avoid falling into the complainy toy talk that other channels do so well and often. So then it made sense, when we were talking about Mr. Rogers and you suggested that, I was like, I want to give this a try because the intro to each video should be a kind of welcome to it and talk to the audience a little bit. And I mentioned in that video, in our conversation, that when I do those video intros, I would have to do it my way. I don't know if people watching those intros have noticed yet, but there are a couple of things that align with my sense of humor that I'm doing quietly in those intros. No one's reached out to say, oh my gosh, I see what you're doing there yet. I've gotten people saying it's a nod to Mr. Rogers. There are some embedded jokes in there that I have been doing. I really appreciated that suggestion, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, Mark.
Well, I did notice the double change of a certain item, so I'm not sure what that is a reference to, but we don't need to spoil it here for people.
Yeah, there's a double change, and there's also a non-change of a certain item, too. Both of the little secret jokes to myself pertain to adjustments that Mr. Rogers would normally make. I'm having fun with it. I'm going to try and continue it, and it'll evolve because eventually the format of the channel adjusts and changes with my interests, and I'm stoked to be doing it. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, I mean, only an idiot wouldn't. Before I start talking about what I did get, I just wanted to mention, and I had texted you about this, I drove out to the Cool Target one day.
Yes.
After dropping Cleo off from school. I had to pick up some stuff, and I figure, I might as well drive all the way the heck out there and see if they had nothing that day, and I was so bummed. What I was looking for, and I didn't tell you then because I knew I'd be talking about it now, is the new Ben Cooper NECA figures, one in particular, the Planet of the Apes
Yes.
one. And I don't think they're technically really out yet. I realized that when I got there. They had, because I had seen them at the Bullard and Blackstone Target, which doesn't have a very good pop culture section, but it was just packed with those NECA Ben Cooper Halloween costume figures, which they have just totally gone full bore on.
I love how deep they're going with this. And I'm not collecting them.
I'm not collecting them at all because there's too many.
There's too many. I mean, if you want to create an authentic Halloween of the Ben Cooper era, you would want to collect them all. But the two that I'm interested in are Planet of the Apes and also Creature from the Black Lagoon, neither of which I have seen out there in the world. And I visited a ton of Targets since they started showing up in the collector spot. I have not spotted Creature, and I have not spotted the Planet of the Apes. I know Planet of the Apes is a newer wave, the newest wave.
I don't think it'll be out for a while, in stores like Target at least. I don't know if I've seen a Creature, but I know I've seen some of the other
I've seen
Universal monster ones.
Dracula, Frankenstein, Nosferatu, a bunch of them, but I have yet to see Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, they're really exploiting that line. I kind of feel like it was a novelty a couple of years back, and it's like, oh, those are really cool, and then all of a sudden it's like Funko with stuff. Just like every other week there's a new set of those. I ain't getting into it now. I'll find one I like, and that Planet of the Apes is the only one that I'm interested in.
I feel exactly the same way. It's exciting that they're doing it, and it's fun to see them on the shelves. I mean, it's always fun to see a bunch of, I'm doing air quotes, weird shit out on the shelf that appeals only to people of our era, and such an abundance of it is crazy. But yeah, NECA is doing a lot of cool things right now. I still have yet to see the Ultimates Pee Wee Herman out there. I still have yet to see the Jaws, realistic Jaws game based on the Jaws game from the late 70s. There are some things that I'm excited to see pop up. Just the fact that you can walk into a Target and see Gremlins and old monster movie characters and Ben Cooper costumes, and sitting right next to what seems to never end is the Funko Pop thing. It's kind of a cool thing. I always think, what of these items should I invest in, or do I want to invest in? And that's why one character out of a bunch of those, or two characters out of a bunch of those, makes sense to me.
And then the other thing I was looking for at that Target was, I thought, well, maybe if I see a Super 7 Micronaut Reaction Plus figure, I'll check it out. But they hardly had any reaction figures. They had the Devo Jerry Casale, which has been there for months.
Yeah, for probably a year.
It was summarily wiped out.
And would I have to wait long if you made one Whopper with no pickle and no lettuce?
No, sir. Hold the pickle, hold the latest special orders don't upset us. All we ask is that you let us serve it your way.
To all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
As you mentioned on the last episode, my birthday happened shortly before that episode was released.
Mm-hmm.
For my birthday, I got, since I mentioned it as my childhood treat on that episode, I got another bag of butter toffee peanuts from my wife from Sierra Nut House. And my sister also got me that bag of quote-unquote trail mix from Walmart that has them in it as well.
Good stuff.
I can't imagine eating that stuff on a trail, but anyway. And I got an eBay gift card and an Amazon gift card, but the eBay gift card was a little more important because I've been doing more shopping there lately. And my wife asked me, well, what should I get you? I said, you know what's the perfect gift? eBay gift card. She did that. So that'll come up in some of the stuff that I got. But before I bought anything from eBay, you and I met up to explore the new Minecraft Happy Meal figures, and we incorrectly reported, or I incorrectly reported, that it was just regular Happy Meal figures.
Yeah.
Kid Happy Meal figures. And I should have known because I kept seeing, when I would see stuff about it, they were showing two separate sets of figures. So there were the film figures that are from the movie or maybe even from the game, and then the McDonald Land character figures. Yep. And I was like, oh, we need to make sure we ask for the right ones, blah, blah, blah. And then I kept seeing that, and then I'm like, is that right? A lot of the things that we're seeing on Instagram were in foreign languages, and I thought, oh, well, maybe one of these is for foreign markets. The weird little actual Minecraft figures from the movie, those might be for foreign markets, and that the McDonald Land figures are for the US or something. Couldn't quite figure it out. And then I finally saw a video where a guy was like, there is a new adult Happy Meal.
Yeah.
Because, you know, those influencers were getting boxes of them with Grimace shirts and everything else and promoting them on Instagram and blah, blah, blah. I was less interested at that point because I thought it was going to be a clusterfuck like that cactus fart plant.
Cactus fart flea biscuit
thing. I almost reneged on us going there just because I thought, I just don't want to get stressed out. But we went, and they had the figures, and we did the little fancy space age order for yourself crap that they do now in McDonald's.
I'm not a fan of that. It feels so impersonal, touching a touch screen. And first of all, I don't like touching public touch screens. I just don't. Right before I eat a meal, that's not sanitary. That does not appeal to me. I'd much prefer to just
totally understand
from
that.
a person and they type it into the computer, whatever.
Yeah.
I already knew that the meal was going to be on me because it was your birthday. I thought, we better try. So I'm glad we did. We got two interesting items.
We did that, and of course, there's no way to pick what you get or whatever.
I hate that.
And or order them alone. So fine with that. Like you said, we both got something interesting that first time, and I gotta say, man, that was eating it there, of course, helps because everything's super fresh, but that was a solid Big Mac.
Oh, it was good. I was done for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But it was sure tasty, and it was nice. We were talking, while we were eating, we were talking about how so many of the flavors of these items just haven't changed and how that's good. Like, you and I both ordered a cup of coffee with our adult Happy Meals, and my deal with McDonald's has always been that their regular coffee has a nice flavor.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it's the same exact coffee flavor. How they maintain this regularity is beyond me. Fries taste exactly the same. And as you mentioned, they've had to change the type of oil that they use. And the Big Mac is exactly the same. This is a phenomenal achievement, in my opinion. And the place smells the same when you go in. The food tastes the same. The aesthetic of the interiors sucks, and the touchscreen sucks. They're giving us adult Happy Meals, and I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. They're giving us adult Happy Meals because they know that our generation wants that. So give us a few McDonald's that are a genuine throwback to the late 70s, early 80s. Why not? They can afford it. You know, these space age McDonald's locations, they don't appeal to children. Make it fun for people of all ages. The play places are shutting down, and rightly so. They're super boring and cold and not interesting. And try that out, McDonald's, if you're listening.
Yeah.
You know that they're listening to this.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Before we get to the toys, because it was my birthday, you brought some treats for me, as you usually do. From Ronnie, I got I think your leftover Homer, Bart, and Lisa Jack Specific minifigures, a Grimace glass, and I couldn't tell if it was plastic or glass.
Oh, it's glass.
Okay, because I kept clinking. I'm like, is that plastic? It's hard to tell. I'm not going to drink out of it because it's probably got lead in it. It's on my shelf.
I've drunk out of mine many a times.
Well, there you go. I'm not drinking
so slow.
And a little PVC skiing Garfield.
Yeah.
I'll get back to that in a minute because it got my wheels turning in my head. So we did get the Minecraft adult, quote unquote, adult Happy Meal. I got the Big Mac Cube, which I was happy about. For the non-figure figures, that was the one that I was hoping for because I do love me a Big Mac. And always have. And you got the
French fries.
French fry space helmet, I believe.
Yeah. So as soon as Faith saw it, she's a fan of Minecraft. She was super excited. And so that belongs to her now. For an afternoon, I had it sitting next to my little Funko Pop French fries.
Yeah.
They look really nice together. There's something cool about, but I don't understand the helmet thing. And I didn't even try to do research on it or anything.
It fits on the other figures, the kid Happy Meal figures.
So probably would fit on Grimace if you got him.
Probably, and it fits on, I think, the game pieces. The kids thing came with a bunch of different options. Figures and then little boxes that folded out, and you can put the stuff on the spaces in the boxes that fold out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Of course, this stuff makes me think about Happy Meal toys, and my favorite character and my favorite item is the Big Mac.
Hey, I got a Big Mac!
So I had been looking at those little pullback cars, the Fast Max.
Yes.
For a while, and had a couple saved and that sold, and then, I'd go back and try and find some other ones. So I had two saved. And they were both carded versions. One was $4 and one was, I think, double that price. And I'm like, well, why am I even looking at the double price? Yeah. It might have been that it was I think it was zero shipping, but it was like just a little bit more. And I'm like, well, which one should I get?
Right.
I'm waiting for offers for one or the other. And I finally got an offer for the $4 one. Since I had my eBay gift card, I got that. I texted you. I'm like, I'm going to bust this thing off the card. And tempting. And I'm like, tempting nothing. I have no connection to carded stuff. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if this is carded.
I get excited about the card art when it triggers something in me that's a happy feeling. Like it feels good to see it. The card art for those pullback toys, I don't have any nostalgic connection to the card art. I have the pullback Ronald McDonald, and it has a different card art than the one that you got.
Yeah.
That's particularly interesting to me. I still haven't taken Ronald off of the card, just like I have Sugar Frosted, a.k.a. Dustin Crops Boys, Mayor McCheese still on the card, too. For some reason, some items just, to me, say, leave me on the card. Did you get them open?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was just getting ready to say. The corner of one side was already lifted up just from age.
Yeah.
And so I went around one edge and it came up just because it's old glue.
Yeah.
He just fell right out.
Oh, man. Yeah, he looks great.
The card is still fine. I mean, the bubble's on the card. It didn't come all the way off. Best of both worlds.
There you go.
Not to get into all this right now, but do whatever the fuck you want with your toys.
Absolutely.
This will come up later when I talk about my current obsession. Don't worry about trying to maintain some kind of value to this stuff. They're cheap pieces of plastic. Don't fucking worry about it.
I talk about that on my channel too. Like, do what you want with the toys. Do what you want.
So I know that you went back, and you can talk about the stuff that you got. You went back to McDonald's to get a second adult Happy Meal, and I wasn't planning to at all. And I just happened to be up by my office and doing some other stuff. I had some other errands to run at where my mom lives, which is close to where my office is. And it was approaching 10:30, and I thought, crap, I'm going to do this, aren't I? So I went through. I'm like, well, if there's a long line, I'm not doing it. There was no line. So I kept putting up all these obstacles for myself, and they all disappeared. So I went, asked them if they still had them. They said yes. And I was kind of thinking of things. So I opened the box when they gave it to me, and I checked the bottom because I know that there are codes on the bottom. And I just didn't want to get the same one again. So I noticed that it was a different code. I'm ticked at myself for doing this. Started driving off, and then I started thinking, wait a minute, the codes mean something.
Yes.
I noticed that the code on this one started with a P, and I'm like, one of these is a potion, and it is absolutely not the one I want. I was already heading out I could drive around the block, turn around, come back in and say, no, I've already gotten this one. Can you give me a different one? And go through, and I'm like, just go home. So I go home, eat a second McDonald's Big Mac in less than 2 weeks, and was again destroyed for the rest of the day. Thinking when I finished my succulent meal here,
a succulent Chinese meal,
I'm going to open this and I'm going to be summarily disappointed.
Yes.
And I was, because it was the soda potion, which was the least interesting one to me. Orange drink of, I guess, a soda. Are they famous for selling orange soda? I don't know. I don't know why it's not brown. But anyway, I guess because it's more colorful. And I was like, damn it, I knew this was going to happen. Done. Not going back. I'm not trying. I'm not going to go up there and go, can you give me one with an H or a G? Not doing any of that. I just can't. I'm not buying another $14 meal.
Yeah. Get
this stupid piece of plastic.
And understandably so.
Fool me once. Shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
I'm still trying to convince myself that it's cool. I think they're a little bit more rare because they seem to be going for higher on eBay, but I could be totally wrong. It's pretty cute.
I don't understand the reference to anything old school McDonald's, but
I don't think that's necessarily the case. Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily the case with the fries and the drink thing. I think they're just strictly Minecraft based.
Yeah.
The little Garfield skier that you got me, I thought, was this a Happy Meal toy? Because I know that they had Garfield toys and Happy Meals a number of times, and it's not, but so I was looking at that stuff, but then I was like, you know what? I need to find that damn pencil topper I had as a kid.
There you go.
Which I feel like I still have and is lost somewhere in my daughter's room, but I've looked for it a million times before in the past and just never bit the bullet because they're always kind of janky and in bad shape. So again, I found a couple, put them on my watch list, waited for offers, and got an offer on the one that to me looked the best or the closest to what I feel like my personal one would look like now. So I got that little tiny, barely an inch tall.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a variety of pencil toppers for Garfield, but this is the one I had as a kid. His little arms his hands are clasped, sitting up and adorable.
Yeah, he looks particularly snarky in that design.
He's got a very big smirk on his face. And then I got something else that I stumbled on because of all this stuff on Instagram from a rival fast food chain, but I'm not going to talk about it today because they haven't shown up. So I'm going to have to wait until next time. I'm a little bit of a traitor to McDonald's on this, but they are freaking adorable. I'll let you know when I get them and tell you what they are, but I'll have to wait until next time to talk about them because they're not here yet.
It's hard when it comes to McDonald's Happy Meals or Burger King kids meals and stuff like that, because sometimes they would get the license for a particular IP. I might normally be dedicated to McDonald's, but if Burger King gets an IP for something that I'm interested in, I'm going to be interested in that.
Speaking of that, I kept seeing Wendy's had these little rubber DC superhero.
Oh. Interesting.
I always want to say Happy Meal, but it's kids meal for other places. I don't know what they call them in particular, but little Keshi, little rubber guys, just solid plastic, no paint or anything. Bunch of DC. If I cared about DC, I would have gone, or if I liked Wendy's, which I do not, I would have gone to get some Yeah, I kept seeing that pop up all over the place. Just, I think they had like 12 or more different figures.
Was that recently?
Could get. Yeah. It's a good thing I got this eBay gift card because our tax situation was pretty horrendous this year.
Oh.
I guess we went up a tax bracket. So I'm not going to be buying a whole lot of stuff once this gift card runs out.
Government do take a bite, don't you?
Well, in a way, that's probably a good thing, especially regarding new stuff, because with the tariffs around the corner, new toy prices are going to really skyrocket. That creates an interesting dilemma that I've been sort of juggling. Does that mean if you're going to invest in toys, some of these toy companies, these companies like Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store that make an effort to make stuff available to people who don't go out shopping for toys, are they going to suffer from this? And do you want to support them, or do you want to save money and buy used stuff through eBay, which, won't be affected by tariffs?
I have a question for you. What do you mean by investing in toys? Are you actually talking about like buying something in the hopes that the value will increase?
No, an investment in pleasure. For instance, a $20 toy will potentially soon be $25 to $30. And that's an investment. I'm investing in my joy of that thing. Recently, I bought Voltac from Mattel Creations, and that's an investment in that character. That's how I view investments. Investing in the joy. And again, this goes back to what we were just talking about. If you're collecting to make money off of something, that's not the way that I do things, and I don't really see a lot of joy in that. So I'm investing in joy, to clarify.
I wanted clarification because that's exactly what a lot of people see these things as, or why they buy them, and why, for one thing, you can't find an adult Happy Meal around town because scalpers go out and snatch them all up. And I've seen people, not the people that are getting them from McDonald's, but people with multiple sets of these. That means they've gone to all of these McDonald's, bought Happy Meals to get them in hopes to sell them on eBay, or why Target gets cleaned out of certain things because people are going to sell them on eBay. That term investment kind of bugs me.
Well, the reason I use the term investment is because every dollar, for people who are collectors that don't make a lot of money, like you and me, every dollar is a choice to spend. It's an investment. I'm investing in my joy. I'm going to stand by that.
Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show, and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice, and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
All right, so what did you invest in this past month?
Let me reconfigure my brain here. Inspired by your purchase last month of the Big Mac helicopter, which was a Happy Meal toy. Well, those toys are dated 1982. And then looking online, some sellers claim that they were Happy Meal toys from 1986. Maybe they were made in 82. Maybe they came out in 86. Or maybe there were two different runs of these.
I think there were two different runs because it doesn't make sense that they would have held on to them for 4 years. The commercial I found that I played on the last episode was from 1986. So they came out twice.
I did the math and I'm like, okay, well, I was 6 in 82. I was 10 or 11 in 86. And either way, I would have been interested at both of those age brackets. Whatever year it was that we went on that trip, finding those, and this is a throwback to last episode, getting those Happy Meal toys was exciting. I found a pretty good deal, and you actually helped me find it on eBay to buy, I guess it's almost all of the characters. I got it for like $7, this handful of aircraft characters, and it's so, I'm tempted to try and get a couple of different colors of the hamburger, the Big Mac helicopter, because I think that's my favorite one. It's really cool to have those as part of the collection now. And I do see that as an investment in my joy, because they do give me visceral joy. And so got those. I also ordered the Mattel Creations Masters of the Universe Voltac. And that's a character that's from a couple of different She-Ra Princess of Power episodes. He was like this evil zookeeper, sort of an obscure character. So I got excited about that. Right around this time, the Count is supposed to be hitting stores for NECA Holathon. I found the Count. Now I've got the 3 released NECA Ultimate Sesame Street characters. And I mean, honestly, the Count is just a spectacular accomplishment in toy making. He is beautiful. Right around this time, Super 7 announces their Mr. Snuffleupagus and Big Bird 2-pack. This is a lot. I'm like, I got to put my stopper up on what I'm going to go buy for myself. And a friend of the channel, Aaron Davies, he was like, it says here online that they're going to be sold out. So he was like, I'm going to send you one. That was really cool of him. Got that, and I did a review. This really kind of pisses me off about Super 7. You start looking at something and they send you an email to follow up and say, oh, I see you're looking at this thing. It's not going to be around very, very much longer. It's selling out. So far, that 2-pack is still online and available. So that's kind of crappy. Rather than focusing on that, I just want to say, like, folks, if you're interested in these Super 7 reaction figures of Sesame Street characters, that Snuffleupagus is an amazing figure. Very cool. Very happy to have that. Yesterday, they announced the new wave, and I sent you the information too as soon as I saw that they were announcing it, and I was able to get Roosevelt Franklin, because that's, you and I both discussed this, that's the one character from that wave that I'm interested in. I don't have an attachment to King Alligator or Alligator King. I don't remember those cartoon shorts from Sesame Street as a kid. I must have missed them. Then there's an Elmo. I'm not no nostalgic connection to Elmo. He emerged when I was already not watching Sesame Street. And then also Cookie Monster in a chef outfit. I mean, that's pretty cute.
Yeah.
So I jumped on Roosevelt Franklin using my affiliate link. So I get a little bit back. Yeah, paying myself for that a little bit.
Hey, why not?
Yeah. Hey, they upped my percentage to 10%.
Cool.
Don't know why they did that, but I'm cool with it. So, folks, if you're going to be buying stuff from Super 7, use the Skelevator affiliate link. You can find it at the bottom of each one of my videos.
I'll try and repost it on this. I know I did back when you first mentioned it, but I'll post it on this video as well, or this episode as well.
Nice. That means every 6 months or so, I'll get a little check of $25.
Then you can invest in more stuff.
Invest in eBay. I think that covers the stuff that I got since we talked last.
Oh, I wanted to mention about the airplane figures. Oh, yeah. I've only seen color variations on Officer Big Mac and the Fry Guys in their planes. I have not seen Ronald, Birdie, or Grimace have variations, and probably because they are their character colors.
Right.
You could do whatever for Officer Big Mac, I guess, other than brown. I've seen different, maybe just the two, the green and the blue Officer Big Mac helicopters, and then there's a couple different blues for, and maybe a green as well for the Fry Guy. And that also suggests to me that they were released at different times.
Mm-hmm.
And just used different colors for those.
Yeah. There's a blue one out there that is just beautiful.
That's the one I have, the blue Officer Big Mac.
It's gorgeous.
It is.
And I mean, they're so cheap.
Well, I'll tell you this. You got your 4
Yeah.
for half the price of what I got my officer bayonet for.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it takes the looking and the, patience and stuff like that.
I wasn't going to buy a set, and I was specifically looking for that, but now I have a set of 3 that I don't have. That's like $4 or something. So
yeah,
I might get that with my eBay gift card, but I don't know. I'm still looking at other stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
We haven't even gotten into our main thing here, and we've already been blathering on for an hour.
Oh, that's good. It's fun.
Yeah, is that why people aren't listening to our show anymore? Could be. Oh, well.
That's why people listen to podcasts in the first place. If they're not listening to us because of that, that would be counterintuitive. I love listening to podcasts because I like to listen to people blather on.
If our numbers continue to tank, I don't really care because, at least for me, I'm doing this for my pleasure.
It's an investment in joy.
It is. I'm investing in my own joy here by spending 0 money on this thing.
That's right. That's right. I look forward to these, so that's what matters to me.
It's all selfish, people. If you're here along for the ride, thank you, but just realize that we're not really doing it for you.
We're doing it for us. We would be doing this anyways.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Mark, what is your first subject matter for today?
Well, I only have one subject matter for today. And I'm not talking about local locales. That is a whole different category. So don't get confused, Mr. Ronald. I once again hemmed and hawed, and I thought I was going to hit the comic book arena for the first time. We haven't really done comic books yet. You've talked about some comic book characters, but we have not talked about comic books.
Right.
And I had been looking at something that I had as a kid. It would have taken up the rest of my gift card. And I'm like, do I really want to do that right now? If I had done that, I probably would be talking about that now, but I'm not. My other option was a modern obsession that I have hinted at numerous times on the show, and I have mentioned one of the people, let's say people, a bunch of times on different episodes. So I'm going to be talking about toy restoration videos. This has consumed a considerable amount of my quote-unquote free time over the last year and a half when I stumbled on this stuff. I don't really watch toy review shows or anything like that for reasons that you mentioned earlier. It's usually complaints, and Toy Ventures or Plaid Stallions or whatever he goes by on YouTube is maybe the exception.
Yeah.
That's generally about the same kind of stuff that I'm into. But even him, I don't really watch a ton of his stuff. Anyway, back in October of 2023, as I was prepping for our episode, which I did Micronauts on, I was looking up clips. I was looking up Micronaut commercials, Microman, the Japanese original version commercials. The algorithm picked up on that and fed me some videos of Micronaut restoration clips from Toy Polloi.
Gotta love Toy Polloi.
And so I was like, this is interesting. And I started watching those. So there was one night that October, Carlita and Cleo went to go see the Taylor Swift movie when it came out. So they went to dinner with a friend of Carlita's, and then they were going to go see that movie. So they were gone, and that was a long movie. It was like over 3 hours long, and I think they were going to the 9 o'clock showing. So they went to dinner, went and saw that. They were gone for at least 6 hours or more.
Yeah.
What did I do? I watched 20 Toy Polloi videos.
I've been there.
I just kept going through his channel, watched a bunch of the Micronauts one, and then realized, oh, this guy has fixed a bunch of different kinds of toys. So he has, well, I'll get into that in a minute. I think I kind of was sticking to stuff that I liked personally. So I saw that there were some $6 Million Man repairs. I saw Bullet Man, which is a G.I. Joe and or Action Man figure from back in the 70s. So I was kind of cherry picking and realized, oh, I find this very relaxing to watch. And I got sucked in. So ASMR, whatever you want to call it, although he does narrate his videos.
Yeah.
Not so much ASMR, but a lot of it is done, like many of these videos, with time-lapse photography, so it's not like laborious and you're watching some guy clean. I mean, you are watching some guy clean toys, but it's sped up, and then he uses these particular music clips, and in the ones I was watching, it was like almost always the same music. So every time he was cleaning the toys off, he would play this music. When I was doing the dishes, I started hearing that fucking music in my head because it's the same scenario going on. So it's, I'm sure, royalty-free music that he uses in all his clips. He's got different ones he uses, but they come up so often, it's like, oh, here's that song again. But anyway, so that's part of it that's relaxing to me. And I think he's a graphic designer by trade, and so he will create sticker sheets for toys that are missing stickers, and he shows that process. It usually involves some kind of drilling and reforming of figures. He's done Mego. He's done tons of Masters of the Universe, tons of Star Wars. He's done real Ghostbusters figures, Micronauts, like I've already mentioned, and then Action Man, which is their version of G.I. Joe. He's done a bunch of those, the $6 Million Man stuff, and then, oddities throughout. And so it says on YouTube that he has 1.1K videos. I have probably watched 98% of those videos. Some of them...
That's more than I've watched, but I've watched a lot of them too, yeah.
Some of them multiple times. I have gone back and watched the series of $6 Million Man videos multiple times, the Bullet Man videos multiple times. I will go back if I'm bored and start going through the Star Wars series, and there's hundreds of those. Toy lines that I have zero interest in. Masters of the Universe, don't care about it, but I watch it. It's fascinating. He creates things with styrene and plastic weld, and he's doing dioramas for his figures. He's done Raiders of the Lost Ark figures when they were done by Kenner, when they were done by LGN, Dungeons and Dragons, all kinds of stuff. It's fascinating to me, and it's something that I really have no personal, like, I can't do that. I mean, I'm sure I could. I've fixed a few toys in my life, but nothing like the required customization or actually creating something out of milliput or
epoxy sculpt.
Yeah, all kind, whatever other kinds of tools and things he uses. Repainting figures. So he's popular, but he's also very unpopular with a certain group of people who think that toys should be left the way they are. So this is where that whole thing comes back in play of carded figures, graded figures. I guess it was really the Star Wars toy community that were like, why are you... they should be left the way that you found them. They've lived this life, etc. It's that's great. It's a fucking inanimate object that doesn't have any feelings. Who gives a crap what somebody does with it? You could buy... And I know that there are people that do this. You could buy a graded figure, AFA graded, 9.3. Buy that, open that fucker up, take it out of the box, peel it off the card. I couldn't care less what you do with something like that. People get all up in arms about this stuff. I mean, I think grading is a scam anyway, but if you want to spend $2,000 to buy an AFA, is it AFA? I think it's AFA, graded figure, and bust it out of that plexiglass case and tear it off the card, destroy the card in the process, whatever. If you want to do that, knock yourself out.
More power to you. Yeah.
I don't care.
Do what you want with it.
If you find a toy at a garage sale or an antique store or a thrift store that has a broken leg and you want to fix it and you're not going to use material from that era, go ahead. If you're going to paint it, you want to repaint it, go ahead. Do whatever you want with this stupid stuff. Who cares, and why do you care what other people are doing, is my point. Some of the stuff he repairs, it is kind of miraculous to see how good it looks at the end.
They look brand new.
Yeah, some of it's like, yeah, whatever. Some of it I'm really amazed at by the end. Like, oh my God.
If you're willing to invest time in making something out of the stuff that you found, like he's shown you can buy pieces of the AT-AT Walker from the Empire Strikes Back Kenner line and piece those together to make a whole AT-AT Walker.
Right.
To me, that's exciting because it's showing like, okay, if you purchase these parts at an affordable price, rather than you having to drop $400+ on a good condition AT-AT Walker, which is like, for people who collect that stuff, it's a grail for a lot of people. You can make your own just by following his tutorial and buying pieces through eBay and putting it all together. That's exciting. That's the type of creativity that I think is employed by some toy collectors, and I admire that. If you're the type of person that is willing or can afford to spend top dollar on a mint condition AT-AT Walker in the box and choose to leave it that way, fine, more power to you. But I am not that person. Even if I could afford to be that person, I'm not sure if I would spend that much money on that. I'm with you. I love Toy Polloi and I love what he's doing, and I could watch those videos too. It's very satisfying.
That's where I've lost a lot of my time and why I don't watch very many movies anymore. And it's just brainless, mindless, but also soothing. And I need that soothing thing. So the next one that came up, and I'm not really sure how this happened, just I guess being on the now toy restoration loop in YouTube, was a channel called PB's Retro Restorations. And this guy does die-cast cars.
Cool.
Which I have, and I say this knowing my history, I have zero interest in. As a kid, I did not collect Hot Wheels or Matchbox. I think I had a couple of motorcycles. I was sort of fascinated by miniature motorcycles, but I only had a few of them. I did have a friend in elementary school who collected Hot Wheels, and so when I'd go over to his house, that's what he wanted to play with, and I was like, man, this is boring as hell.
I felt the same way.
Other than a brief period not too long ago, I have never collected Hot Wheels or any other die-cast cars. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, I think it may have been a Batmobile. You know, the Corgi famous Batmobile that had all these functioning parts on it.
Oh, yeah.
Which I remember some friends having when I was a kid. There was also the Corgi 007 Aston Martin that had the same kind of gimmicks. For whatever reason, I started watching this guy's stuff. He's Australian, so this plays a big part in it because I could listen to Australians talk all day long.
Amen to that.
And he's got a sense of humor, pokes fun at himself and messes up a lot. It's just fun to watch. It was fascinating to me, though, to see what goes into restoring these little 2 to, I think Corgi and original Matchbox figures were a little bit bigger, like 4-inch cars. It was fascinating to me to see the process of stripping the paint, the different means of stripping paint. You can use a couple of different things to do that. These toy cars have to be riveted together so that kids can't easily take them apart and choke on them. And so I was fascinated by, they have to remove the rivets. How do they do that? He doesn't replace them with rivets. He replaces them with screws. That was interesting. You've got to thread the holes now. So he's got a threader. He uses an airbrush to repaint the cars, which is, again, one of those soothing things to me.
Yeah.
I think very early on, he may have spray painted a few of them, quickly changed to airbrushing.
Yeah,
and he creates decals for them. To take the tires off, you have to grind out the little stubby part that keeps them in, and then you've got to recreate that stub at the end, and you get replacement parts from these places all across the globe, tires, things like that. And it's like fascinating to see the process from this junked up little car at the end to something that's really pretty. A lot of them have plastic for the glass and how the materials they use to clean that, polishing it, and then they use linoleum floor cleaner to like shine up the glass at the end. It's just,
that's so cool.
I would see all this stuff out of context where he's not explaining the things. I'm like, what is he dipping that in? What do you dip this plexiglass into to make it shine up again? And so then at some point, as I'm going through the videos out of sequence, it was explained. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Who thinks of this stuff?
Yeah.
Right. Using brake oil to strip paint off of plastic toys is what Toy Ploy employs. And I've seen on another show that I watch. I'm like, brake oil? Why does brake oil strip paint? It's fascinating stuff to learn these things. So he's only got about 250 videos. But again, I've watched probably about 85% of his things.
Yeah, I got to get on that too. Thank you for introducing that to me, because I got to watch his channel. That sounds exciting. I love that.
It's pretty fun, and he's a big part of it because he's enjoyable to watch. And like other ones pop up, and I'm like, this isn't a thing that I'm like venturing into. It's like I like this guy's stuff. I don't need to see. I'm sure I probably watched a couple, but they didn't have the charm of his channel.
G'day viewers, and welcome to this week's PB's Retro Restorations. And on that note, let's get crack-a-lackin', as they say, everywhere from London to Sydney and everywhere in between, probably.
Directly because of that, somehow on Instagram, somebody popped up in my Explore page doing not die-cast cars, but Tonka-sized vehicles. And that's a little more involved because now you're getting into sandblasting, which is fascinating to me. Very much ASMR. And these restorers who do that size, I don't know anything about the scale of car things. Like I don't know what scale Hot Wheels are. It's like 1/64th or something, and I don't know what scale Tonka is, 1/32nd, or who knows. I don't know anything about that. The larger scale stuff involves a little bit more heavy duty tools. So the guy that popped up on my Instagram is called Joe, and I think it's Joe_DIY. And so they're little maybe 1 to 2 minute clips of the process. So sandblasting, taking them apart for one thing, and they all are connected usually with rivets and tabs that get bent, that steel that they use for those cars and trucks. Sandblasting, powder coating, and then cleaning stuff up, some metal work, reshaping axles that are bent. You also have to get replacement parts for a lot of the pieces because they're 50 something years old and things rust and rot. And I was like, oh, he must have a YouTube channel. So I looked up Joe DIY and I didn't find anything. So I just put in like Tonka Restoration or something. One of the channels that popped up was called Chip Channel Restorations. So I started watching those, got hooked, and they're longer. The stuff on Instagram is designed for that short format. This was basically exactly the same thing. Taking the vehicle apart, sandblasting it, fixing all the stuff that's wrong with it, and then powder coating it, which I just love. I've always been fascinated by powder coating, what it even is. And I had a metal stool and my mom kept saying, you need to go get that powder coated. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Yeah, so the powder coating has always fascinated me, and there was a local place so my mom kept telling me to go to get this
I've been there.
Stool to get powder coat. I don't even have the stool. I don't even think she ever gave it to me. I think she gave it to my sister.
I used to work for a sign company, and we used them for powder coating metal signs, and the whole process is so fascinating to me.
It's very simple too. I mean, it's really just this powder that you spray on things. It sticks to it, and then you heat it up to like 400 degrees and cure it basically. And I don't think that's how Tonka or some of there's other lines of vehicles that he does as well. Pretty sure that's just paint on the old stuff.
Yeah.
And for a lot of the old vehicles, he has to do a lead test on them. And a few of them have come up. And when they come up positive for lead, the paint has to be stripped as opposed to sandblasted. So a while back, I remember I sent you that Michelin Man cast iron thing. That it's the same basic process that guy used for that, because I know he sandblasted that stuff off and then powder coated him to get the rust off. And with the sandblasting, it takes everything off. And then a lot of times the metal's so pitted, they have to fix it with basically Bondo. It's something else. It's another product, but it's, just filling in the holes and then sanding things, wet sanding. He has created his own tires for some of the things, like with rubber. It's just interesting to see the progression of like the tools that these people invest in. And I'm like, this guy must have a tool and die shop, because he has got all this metalworking equipment, all of these steel rods that he used to make the axe. It's just like, this can't be the only thing that's funding. I'm assuming you've got a side business or a real business that warrants having all this huge equipment in your warehouse behind your house or whatever. It's amazing, though, the stuff that they employ to get these things done. And I'm like, and then what do you do with them? Because they're always all lined up at the end of the videos. It's got like hundreds of Tonka and other brand trucks, and some of them are huge, like fire engines and things like that. And again, utilizing replacement parts for a lot of the stuff that you can't recreate. But it's sort of amazing the stuff that he has fashioned himself out of rubber and plastic and metal to make these things. And I have zero, talk about zero, I've never owned a Tonka truck in my life.
Yeah.
Never had any desire. I would see them at Arthur's or whatever. They do not appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. But especially the older ones are beautiful little objects. And that powder coating, when it is done curing, is just so smooth and creamy and glossy looking. It's amazing.
Watching processes like that can be so satisfying, and you don't have to have any interest in the item that's being made.
Yeah.
I am not interested in becoming a model train guy, but I will watch people build model train sets. I just can't get enough. I can't get enough of the diorama making, and that appeals to me in a very real way, because I'll do that. But when it involves trains and building little buildings and stuff like that, like I can't even, but watching it is so much fun. And I'm like you, I've never had an interest in Tonka. I've never collected Hot Wheels. There are some things that are of high interest to me as far in small vehicle form, like army tanks for some reason. I don't know why they appeal to me in a very, very real way. I can totally get on board with this. This is exactly what I love about watching makers make things.
Yeah.
It just does something to me.
These restoration are very much ASMR because there is zero narration. And I have watched a number of other of these channels, and I did eventually find Joe DIY on YouTube as well. I don't know why it didn't come up in the search that I did. So I've been watching some of his. They're all the same. No talking. Sometimes there'll be some descriptive text on the screen to explain what's happening. But again, a lot of it's out of context, especially if you start out of order on things. Like, I don't know what he's using to make this. I don't know what he's using to clean that. It eventually gets explained, or you sort of suss it out after a while. But there is zero talking, usually no background music. It's all just the sounds of the tools. It's the sounds of the exterior of the person's shop or wherever they're working. And they all have shops. So it's like these guys have got to be working either at auto places or I don't know what. They've just got tons and tons of tools to utilize. And so I have hopped around. I don't know the names of any of the other channels. The Chip Channel Restoration has about 90 videos, and I'm pretty sure I've watched all but the hour-plus long video that's all sandblasting, because sandblasting's very calming, but I'm not going to sit there and watch an hour of him just sandblasting 100 different pieces. So that's the only one I've really skipped. Some of these other channels, they restore old tools. I saw somebody restore an old car lift.
Yeah.
A couple of them have redone the same brand of parking meter. Yeah. So there's all this internal working in them. Somebody did a little home version of a skee ball set.
Restoring old posters.
Oh yeah, Fourth Cone. If you want to watch somebody restore old posters, check out Fourth Cone Restorations.
It's amazing.
I love that channel.
Yeah.
Although that has gotten very repetitive because they just do the same thing for every poster, but it is pretty interesting as well. Yeah. I have now finished Chip Channel's whole set, so I'm going back and rewatching them.
That's awesome.
A lot of times I'm doing this while I'm on the computer with work stuff too, so I miss things, and they're all the same anyway, so watching it I don't go, oh yeah, I remember this. It's like, oh yeah, I missed that last time, or it's just a way to soothe myself throughout the day.
Yeah. Folks that listen to Wake Up Heavy, now you know why there are long breaks.
Yeah, I've mentioned that on the show already. It's not the specific channels that I've been watching, but...
Yeah, no, I love this. You've given me homework. I will rewatch Toy Ploy videos that I've already watched.
I watched one of the guys does Star Wars toy restorations as well. And he did a Millennium Falcon restoration that was very enlightening to me. So I want to talk to you off episode about that.
Yeah, send me that link. I'm interested.
Yeah, I need to go back. I'll have to go back through my history because I meant to do it, and then I've watched so much repeated stuff. I'm gonna have to go way back in my history to find that one. But it clarified something for me that
interesting.
We'll talk about after we get out of here.
Because I got mine sitting here, and I know that there's some things I want to do to it or for it, but I'm waiting for the right information.
I have an idea. That's it for me. The toy restoration videos is a pretty current, within the last couple of years, obsession that I don't know how long it'll last. Might be short-lived. We'll see.
We'll see. It's something that I jump into and then jump out of and jump back into. Every once in a while, something new will pop up too through the algorithm, and I'll go down that road and, watch somebody, like I said, restore a poster or...
Yeah. Like you, Toy Ploy and PB's retro restorations, they generally have at least one video release during the week. So there's always something new, and then I can go back. I'll watch the Bullet Man Toy Ploy stuff again eventually, I know. And then when I get stuck and I'm just bored, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll watch him redo that one Masters of the Universe figure again. Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
It's relaxing.
Let's get crack-a-lackin', as I say.
Of Jaws and Star Wars bring you
Indiana Jones,
a totally modern hero. Trust me. And a new age of adventure. From the jungles of Peru to the streets of Cairo, from the greed of the pharaohs to the wrath of God. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Rated PG.
Well, Ronald P. Zerigian, what's on your agenda today? What did you invest in this month?
I invested in memories this month. Recently, I was thinking about when we start to talk about what we're going to talk about, I sort of scan my brain and my memories and my current interests and stuff that I could see myself talking about. And even with talking about Dune, I had some of the Dune toys when that movie came out. And a lot of the times we fall back into the toy arena because that's a lot of our interest exists there. Can't really talk about Batman without talking about some toys. Can't really talk about Masters of the Universe without talking about toys, Star Wars, etc., etc. One toy line that I've always avoided and had zero interest in, even though I have very fond memories of a high level of interest in this particular IP, is Indiana Jones.
Give me the whip. Throw me the idol. No time to argue. Throw me the idol. I throw you the whip. Give me the whip. Adios, señor.
I never collected the 3.75 inch Kenner figures. I've never had an interest in collecting the more recent Black Series style Hasbro 6 to 7 inch figures. I don't have any interest in Indiana Jones as a toy. I bought an Indiana Jones action figure recently off of eBay because I'm going to customize him into something else. That's the only time I've ever bought an Indiana Jones figure and kept it. With that being said, when I was thinking about Indiana Jones recently, I was thinking about costumes. As a kid, I would dress up. I would dress up as Superman. I would dress up as Batman. I would spend a lot of time doing that. I couldn't possibly fathom doing that today. Not that type of a person. Not that type of a geek.
You mean cosplay?
Yeah, cosplay. I can't.
Come on.
Yeah, not there. Not there yet. Maybe when I lose my mind a little bit.
I want to see you as Prince Adam.
Prince Adam? Maybe I'll do that. Never. But as a child, my aunt took me to, it was just a trip the two of us took. This didn't happen very often, but I just hung out with my aunt one day. We did a day trip to Magic Mountain. This is before Magic Mountain was Six Flags and Looney Tunes, DC, whatever entity.
Yeah.
It was back when they still had trolls walking around. By the way, we should talk about it at some point. When we were there, she was like, pick a souvenir. And I picked a real leather bullwhip. Ooh. It was mainly because of Indiana Jones.
You didn't pick a top hat?
No. And when I got back, I was like, well, now I need the fedora, piggybacking. We're going to just move from getting the bullwhip to me often going out and playing by myself out on the property where our Christmas tree farm was. And, I could actually practice cracking the whip and trying to get it to loop around a branch and swinging from it. I think I broke it twice doing that. And I was a small kid, but those things were cheap. Every once in a while, my mom, stepdad, and little brother, and sometimes my stepbrothers at the time would go to Army surplus supply stores. I remember going one time and finding a pouch, like the Indiana Jones purse, and the Indiana Jones leather jacket, and the Indiana Jones khakis, and the fedora, and the leather, just like simple things, leather belt, leather shoes. I mean, these are not hiking boots. He was just wearing normal, like, Oxford style leather shoes that a sloppy professor would wear.
Right.
The whip, the holster. I was thinking back recently about my affinity for certain types of manwear, leather holsters, handbags that look like they're old, the regular off-white collared shirt, khaki pants, leather jackets, worn-in clothes, old-timey hats. All that stuff appeals to me in a lot of ways because of the Indiana Jones films. As a kid, I used to play dress up as Indiana Jones a lot. I didn't have a hat, but I would certainly wear a shirt over a shirt to make it look like I was wearing a leather jacket. I would employ that $3 ammo pouch to look like the Indiana Jones satchel that he would carry around. And I carried that whip around, and I would put my little plastic gun in a little plastic holster and spend a lot of time and invest creativity in creating that kind of an outfit for myself. And it's fascinating. The outfits, the World War II era outfits, is the extent of the aesthetic appeal as far as costuming goes. But each adventure of the three main movies that came out when I was younger, first one, second one, and third one, there was always an environment that was fascinating to me as well. And that actually is going to lead into my talk about local locale. Adventures in interesting, strange places, going outside on that property, finding creeks and rocks and creating adventures after having read an Indiana Jones comic book or having watched a clip of the movie somehow, whether it be on Laserdisc or rented VHS or eventually owning the VHS. I used to record clips from movies. So James Bond, Indiana Jones, Gremlins, I would record them on a little Fisher-Price tape cassette player that actually had the record option. I would play it back and I'd go out and engage in a pretty dedicated way.
Did you ever crack yourself with the whip on accident?
Yeah, I did. When I eventually learned how to make it crack, to create the cracking sound, that was amazing. I hit myself quite a bit trying to figure that out.
This is just something I know that I would do. Shit.
Yeah, I think I probably came out of that with a lot of little welts and bruises, but
no scar on your chin though, right?
No scar on my chin, even though I wanted one so bad. I wanted that so bad. Now you got the scar on your forehead above your eyebrow. You're so cool.
Yeah.
When it comes to like certain things in my life that are recurring, waterways that I notice while on road trips, constructed environments at Disneyland. Like I'm always the one person in our 4-person crew when we go to Disneyland that wants to go on the Jungle Cruise ride. I'm the only one interested in that.
I like that ride.
It's just a visceral experience. There's no real adventure to it. It's not a roller coaster. It's just you sitting on a boat. I can't get enough of that. And
It's relaxing.
It's relaxing, but it also feels like you're in a different place. Yeah, I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean. That
Pirates of the Caribbean. Wow.
Yeah, like that.
I mean, I know we have, we can pronounce that, but I've never heard the actual ride at Disneyland pronounced that way. That threw me off.
Isn't that weird how it's always pronounced incorrectly? Pirates of the Caribbean rather than Pirates of the Caribbean. I've been thinking about that. Yeah, I never collected the toys, but I definitely would grab an indie comic book every once in a while if I saw one on the rack and my mom would let me get one. I read those backwards and forwards till they were tattered. I would take them out on my adventures. I would make treasure maps because I wanted to go searching. I wanted to go on archaeological digs on the property.
We do not follow maps to buried treasure, and X never, ever marks the spot.
I would take my toys with me in my little satchel. It was always the concept of adventure for me as a kid was exciting. I owe a lot of that to Indiana Jones and those movies. One of my favorites is Temple of Doom, but I know that comes with it a lot of negative connotations of people.
Yep.
But I still get that visceral feeling, all those interiors and the caves and the mines and the caverns and the jungles and all that stuff just makes me feel all the feelings again. I almost went with James Bond this month because that's bound to happen eventually.
You got to warn me about that. You can't just go into that because I got to watch those Roger Moore movies.
That's the part of it. I wanted to talk about it, but I can't really talk about it until I find a streaming service that actually offers all of those movies.
They hop around. They go to all the different services.
But Indiana Jones movies, on the other hand, I could talk about that because I feel like for a long time as a kid, I just breathed Indiana Jones. I lived in those adventures. And the outfit really does something for me. Now, this is also interesting because I'm not a cosplayer and I'm not going to be getting into a fedora and a fake leather jacket that I bought from Disneyland just to look like Indiana Jones. No way am I going to do that. But I had so much fun making my own costumes or putting together my own indie costumes as a kid and playing that role. Now, water, as I kind of hinted at earlier, plays a very strong role in my relationship to those adventures as a kid. Like I said, going to the creeks, burying things. When we lived briefly at Hume Lake, when my stepfather at the time was working as a facilities manager there, I would go to the lake, and the lake was small enough that it reminded me of that lake where the airplane lands and picks Indy up in the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark, burying things there and going and digging them up and having all those experiences, trudging through shallow creeks on this adventure. When I discuss the local locale, it's going to come up in a very substantial way, I think. I think fondly of those films and the environments that were recreated in those films and how something as simple as an outfit like Indiana Jones's outfit can be so appealing to a kid is fascinating to me. It's just clothes, shirt, pants, belt, jacket, hat. It's not Superman's outfit that's a very particular kind of thing. It's just regular clothes. It's very cool. I still like khakis to this day. I still wear khakis, and it's probably because of Indiana Jones.
I've told this story a couple of times on Wake Up Heavy, but I chickened out of seeing the first film because I had heard about the face melting scene.
Yeah.
I had a notoriously weak stomach, and I didn't want to risk puking in a movie theater. We were in Lake Tahoe at the time, and my sister had taken a friend of hers on the trip. We all three had walked to the movie theater. That was, 1980? When did the first one come out? 81?
81 sounds right to me.
So I was 12. We bought tickets, went, and then I left. I'm like, I don't know what I used as an excuse, but I walked by myself. I don't know why this wasn't scarier. Walked by myself back. Don't even know how I found the place. From the movie theater to the timeshare condo we were staying at the time, and didn't see it until it came out on video.
Yeah.
And I had gotten over my weak stomach thing by then because I was watching The Thing and everything else on video.
Yeah, exactly. Conversely, I loved that scene as a kid. As a little kid, I saw it, I don't know how old I was, but I was very little. Loved that. Loved it. Like, had something about it just so amazing to me. That says a lot about me, I guess. I could see in watching it that artistry there, and that was very exciting to me. And that melting face, those melting faces. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, Indiana Jones. And I'm about to speak briefly about a local locale that I visited recently that made me feel all those feelings again in a different way. And that's what got me to think about Indy and those kind of adventures.
Well, Toy Ploy has some videos where he repairs not only the Kenner Indiana Jones figures, but the LGN.
Yeah, I got to go watch those.
I think is weird that in pretty close succession, there were two different companies that had that license.
Yeah,
and
that's so true.
I think he's reviewed some of the modern Kenner retro figures as well. Yeah, I have no interest in those figures. The Kenner figures are kind of weird.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, I'm just remembering now. I did buy one of the reissues of the Kenner figures. That says a lot about me. I bought the Nazi.
Yeah.
What's his name? The guy with the emblem burned into his palm.
Yeah. Didn't you want the other Nazi too? The bald guy?
Oh, that's right. The fighting Nazi. Yeah. I was tempted. Yeah. I don't even know if I may have traded him in actually for one of these big trades that I did. Yeah, I don't think I still have that little Nazi in the cloak anymore with his little glasses. Yeah, I still get the feeling of excitement when I see a vintage holster or something like that in an antique store. I don't know why. And it's not because I like guns. It's because I liked Indiana Jones.
That makes more sense to me, actually, but...
yeah, for sure.
I don't have a very deep connection to Indiana Jones at all. I don't even think I've watched all of the movies. I remember not really caring for Temple of Doom when I saw it. That one I saw in the theater. I was like, this is really mean-spirited. That's all I took from that movie. Back then, I didn't recognize the negative stereotyping so much as I do now. I just was like, this is kind of a nasty movie compared to the first one. It just seems like everybody's mean. I don't know.
I definitely didn't pick up on any of that until later on in life. And then when I did, I was like, oh my God, how did I not see this?
Yeah. I think most people, that's what they picked up on back then, but as kids,
Yeah, for sure.
I wasn't woke back then like I am now.
Yeah.
Water! 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 Oh, look, water! 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 Come on!
The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you have a local locale?
Yeah, that is what I'm doing this time. I don't think I've done a local locale in a while. Was stuck on what to do or what to pick, what category to pick from. And I thought, I need to do a local locale. I haven't done one in a while. What am I going to pick from my list? For whatever reason, this one stuck out to me. So I'm going to talk about I believe this is the first Mexican restaurant that I ever went to as a kid, that I ate at, excuse my horrible grammar, as a kid. And that would go on for a while. This was sort of our family restaurant, Mexican restaurant, for a good number of years growing up. And that is, and it's probably not what you're thinking because of my connection with Sunnyside as a kid. It's not that. It was a place in Clovis called Franco's, or probably more correctly, Franco's, but we didn't pronounce it that way. It was always Franco's for us. It was located at 836 Pulaski Avenue, even though Clovis Avenue is the main thoroughfare. Pulaski is actually the main street of Clovis, I would say, or at least of downtown Clovis. And so this is just a little south of downtown Clovis, where there were more residential buildings and structures, which actually plays a part in this story because I didn't really think about it as a kid, but I am pretty sure when I try to remember it now, the building was butted up against a house. So someone had basically put the restaurant next to their house and kind of expanded along the years and eventually took over the house, I believe. Probably totally wrong on that.
That's cool.
I don't know where my parents found out about the place, if they had been taken there by friends or what inspired them, because this was not close to our house. Really, it didn't take super long to get to, but downtown Clovis from where we lived on Peach and Belmont, especially since there wasn't a freeway going that way at the time, it wasn't really nearby. Javier's would have been, it seems, the natural choice since we were very familiar with that area, but we did not really eat at Javier's much when I was a kid. So Franco's, I believe we started going there when I was pretty little, and I didn't really eat the dinners provided at the restaurant. I probably wasn't eating full meals. And I believe when I was eating there at first, I was probably ordering like a hamburger or something.
Yeah.
But once I got old enough to be like, oh, this stuff looks pretty good. My meal there, I think probably 99.9% of the time, I would order off the a la carte menu a bean and cheese burrito and 2 taquitos. Every time. I don't know if I ever varied from that, but if I did, it wasn't very often. To this day, one of my favorite things in life is a good bean and cheese burrito.
Yeah.
What do I order from Robert Tito's 95% of the time? Bean and cheese burrito.
Interesting.
Yeah, love them to this
I love
day.
them too.
Because of that. And the taquitos came with guacamole, and theirs was not the chunky molcajete made style that you get today in so many Mexican restaurants. It was like a salsa. It was a pureed guacamole.
Yeah.
It was probably just avocado, seasonings, and lime or lemon juice. And so it was basically poured over the taquitos.
Okay.
And I loved that. I loved that combination.
Making me hungry.
Yeah, and I know that there are people out there that don't like avocados, that don't like guacamole. I feel sorry for you.
Yes, as I
do. Because they are one of the most wonderful things in this world. I have always loved avocado, and I've
100%.
always loved guacamole.
I would just eat an avocado with a spoon. It's so good. I love it.
Carlita and I did that all the time. And I mean, I did it as a kid too, but you cut an avocado in half, put some salt on it, and
that's right. That's it.
Scoop it out of the natural bowl that it came in.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
This is where we would go for Mexican food, and I ordered the same thing every time. And they were, even as a teenager, I had friends that lived in Clovis, and we got our hair cut on, which corner is it? I can't remember if it was 5th and Pulaski or 4th or 5th, or maybe 6th, maybe even further south. And every time I'd go get my hair cut there, I'd peek down the street and think, oh yeah, Franco's is down there. And even when we go today, it's right across, or the spot is, I used to think it was across from the DMV that was down there, but it was a little south of that as well. And that DMV was famous in Fresno because that was the place to go for your driver's test, because it was easier to pass in Clovis. And the DMV is not in that location anymore either. It's somewhere else in Clovis. Yeah, so went there whenever we had Mexican food, and very rarely ever went to Javier's until much later as a teenager. When I think of where I started my love of Mexican food, it starts with Franco's.
That's awesome.
And I wasn't really I'm not going to be able to find anything about Franco's online probably, but I did find a little bit, and it's sort of interesting. The gal that started the business was born in 1916.
Wow.
And she lived until 2018. So she lived for 102 years. She opened the business, and this was not a popular thing, for one thing, for women to own businesses in 1958, but for Hispanic women to work outside of the house was not a common thing. They opened it in 1958, and I think it was basically just like a taco stand, no seating or anything, when Pulaski was still a dirt road. The restaurant survived until 2008, so it lasted for 50 years, and of course expanded, like I said, and expanded into their own home at some point. It was one of those, wood-paneled, black velvet painting type Mexican restaurants. When you went in there. It always smelled amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And so this Seferina Franco, who opened it, lived to 102, and in 1994, she was the first Hispanic woman to ever be inducted into the Clovis Hall of Fame, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Didn't know anything about that stuff growing up. Just knew it was where I got my beloved bean and cheese burrito and taquitos. Actually, that's the other thing I've been ordering from Robertito's lately are taquitos, and they just come drowned in guacamole. And that kind of reminds me of Franco's. So
Franco's, we can't experience that today now because it's not there any longer.
No, it does not exist anymore. There is a restaurant in that spot. It used to be that light brown brick. I always want to say adobe, but it's not actually adobe.
Yeah.
It had half circle windows that I remember, and it's totally different now. It's called the Third Place or something now, and I'm sure that there was something in there prior to. I know there was something in there prior to that. And I don't think there's any houses on that corner anymore either. Right. Nope, it doesn't exist anymore.
In fact, as many as 18,000 people a day take this boat trip. And when they return to civilization, safe and sound, they long remember the beauty and excitement they found in the teeming tropical jungles of Adventureland.
Speaking of places that are obsolete or have changed or have disappeared, I'm going to talk about 3 locations that still exist, but I'm going to talk briefly about each one of them to get to the main point, which is Fresno does not have a lot of recreational activities. They've got the zoo, Storyland, which we've talked about, which hardly anybody goes to, Playland, which is hardly utilized either, but they definitely have water parks. And water parks or water features or water-based rides or areas where humans have constructed water basins or lakes or rivers is always fascinating to me. And I touched on that a little bit talking about Indiana Jones and the Jungle Cruise. When we were younger, there were 2 places where you could go on water slides. There was Clovis Lakes and Blackbeard's. And Blackbeard's had like a cement water slide. I believe they still have it. It's like not the same type of advanced water slides that Clovis Lakes eventually built on their property out there. And I never actually went on the Blackbeard's water slides. I'd heard about them, but my family and I went to Clovis Lakes several times when I was younger, which is now called Wild Water Adventures.
Yeah.
I haven't been there since the 80s, so I don't know how much it's changed since it became Wild Water Adventures, or if it's still fascinating as it was to me back then. But I'm not much of a public pool person anymore either, so I'm not too attracted by the idea of going to a water park. But this week, a friend of my YouTube channel, who has his own YouTube channel, his name's Alan, and he has this YouTube channel called Stiltby Studios, and he makes haunts. He contacted me and said he was in town. I can talk a little bit about this. I'm going to hold off on some important information because they're not announcing this until the end of May. But I can talk a little bit about this here because this is going to post early May. He is currently working on a project at the third water park, the newest water park here in town that you can see off of Highway 99, called the Island Water Park. I had never been there. I never had the interest to go there. When you drive by on Highway 99, it looks like a dead zone, or it doesn't look like there's a lot of trees. It looks like you just go. It must just be like concrete and water slides.
That's what it appears to me, and that's why I've had zero interest, because if there is nowhere to find some shade in 110 degree weather, I'm not interested.
Yeah, and Clovis Lakes or Wild Water Adventures always had a lot of old growth trees and park areas where you could relax at a picnic bench and be completely in the shade. I don't know if it's still like that, but that's the way it was when I was younger. I know our oldest had been to Island Water Park and talked sort of like, it's not that great. So I was invited recently by Alan to go and have a look at this place and look at what he's working on there. I was kind of fascinated by what they've done with this particular park. A lot of it is in disrepair. I don't mean this in any disrespectful way to the way that the park is run. I visited it this week, so that's pre-summer water slide season. Yes, there are not a lot of trees, like there are not a lot of old growth trees, but there are like shaded areas. But there's some really interesting architectural moves happening at this place. Number one, they have a mini golf course there that has a lot of water features. When I was there, all the grass is dead. They just mowed it or weed-eated it, and there's no water in the water basins. It looks like it hasn't been touched in a decade, but I guess they're building it into something. That is exciting to me. They have like a slow river, chlorinated river raft drifting thing that goes around this concrete island that has some interesting features there too, like kiddie wading pool and things like that. And they have the usual water slides. They have a giant fiberglass hamburger, which made me really happy to see. They have a bunch of artificial fiberglass tiki decorations just piled up in corners. It was kind of an amazing visit. I'm really anxious to see what Alan does to it, because I'm always interested to see places in disrepair or places that need a little love in the valley that provide folks with something else to do be improved upon or be changed in an interesting way. Fresno has its water parks, or Fresno Clovis has its water parks, and they are varying degrees of quality. I got a kick out of visiting that spot and seeing it for the first time, feeling like, I guess it's been around for quite a while now, but feeling like it's a new place and seeing it as being an old place was a bit of a surprise to me. He's doing something interesting to it. It'll add a kind of edge to that place that it probably needs, and I'm excited. I'm going to do a little video on it mid-May and show what Alan has been working on, and it'll be a cool option for people during the summer months.
I think I've gone to Clovis Lakes twice, and one was a school thing in I think I was 8th grade. And then I believe I went once in the early 90s with some friends. And yeah, it's not really my thing either, but they did have trees.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do as well, but I'm betting that they would, because otherwise, like I said, it's going to be miserable.
Yeah.
Even at a water park, if you don't have shade to relax in after you get out of the water, you're going to be miserable in Fresno or Clovis with 100 and something degree heat bearing down on you.
For sure.
Clovis Lakes had that river raft thing as well. I remember going around on even back then. My friend Staven, who I've known for years, they lived right next to Clovis Lakes.
Oh, yeah,
for
that's cool.
Quite a few years. Even then, though, I'd go over there, drive up the same driveway that you use to get into Clovis Lakes and take a left instead of a right. And we never went. We watched their fireworks on the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
That's cool.
I mean, we were literally right across the street from them. Otherwise, had no interest. He lived right by it. I went to his house daily for weeks during the summer. Never went in.
Yeah, I've never been to any water parks beyond the ones in Fresno and Clovis, or beyond Clovis Lakes, actually. And I've always been curious about some of the major water parks that coincide with theme parks and stuff like that. I'm not much for like taking off my shirt and going hanging out with a bunch of people. I do like the idea of creative waterways. I always thought the Island Water Park was just a bunch of those adrenaline slides, which they have a lot of, but I didn't know that they had this cool slow river raft thing. And it's really interesting to hear what Alan has planned for that. That's kind of neat to me. And that takes me back to, artificial waterways like the Jungle Cruise and things constructed for movies that involve water. It's fascinating to me. I don't know why I like that so much. Probably goes back to just Pirates of the Caribbean and loving the smell of the chlorine and bromine. Anyways, love that stuff. Had to mention those places. And then also there'll be stuff coming up on my channel pertaining to the island come up here pretty soon.
Cool.
Mark, anything else? Any last words?
No.
Remember, folks, until we meet again, have fun, stay weird, and keep collecting. Because your weird is your weird.
And do whatever the hell you want with your stuff that you collect.
Absolutely. Invest in joy.
Invest.
See my vest, made of real gorilla chest.
On that note...
Some men hunt for sport, others hunt for food. The only thing I'm hunting for is an outfit that looks good. See my vest, made from real gorilla chest. Feel this sweater, there's no better than authentic Irish setter. See this hat, 'twas my cat, my evening wear, vampire bat. These white slippers are albino, African endangered rhino, grizzly bear underwear, turtles' necks, I've got my share. Beret of poodle on my noodle HL Try my red robin suit, it comes one breast or two. See my vest, see my vest, see my vest.
Cambridge and Rashawn is a Weirding Way Media podcast.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.